So the first question is like, what the heck do you have up on the screen? I thought this was a coding session. While we're browsing the internet together, I wanted to introduce the framework that I'll be using, which is this thing called Nannou, and apparently my computer is terribly slow. And it's kind of like, well, I guess it's kind of like processing, but for Rust. And why would you want to recreate processing? Well, one of the reasons you might want to do so is that it's really fast. Fast at running. It has it has a little bit of work to get done in terms of refinement. It's certainly less mature than processing. The community isn't there. The other cool thing is it's Rust, so I like it, right? So that's kind of Rust is kind of my jam. I think it's kind of good. And so where we start to, we've got this thing, we click on guide, and the guide is a little markdown book, and in getting started, it talks you through how you might want to install Rust, set up a editor, and then we can skip running examples. We can go straight to creating a project. So that's what we'll do. That's where we are now. Let's do so. So the first thing it says is create the Rust project with the name of our project. Okay, so I am going to call this cargo new, and then the actual, in case we haven't, the actual screen screensaver that we're going to try to recreate is called Mystify. But everyone who has had like Windows 3.1 would have seen something like this, and so that's what we're going to build again. Hopefully everyone's down for that. So what does it say we should do? Cargo new my project, so cargo new Mystify, cd Mystify. And then I'll just open like my Microsoft Studio Code, and let's keep following these instructions. Sorry if I'm jumping around. I'm probably going to get told to update a whole bunch of various plugins and so forth. I bear with me. Nostalgia plus one, yeah, increment that out. Nostalgia. The extract. I'll give my home address, not my old work address. I should figure out how to reconfigure that. When it became oh my god, I've got my first spam. That's really useful. How do I ban you? Bye. That's cool. I've got some spam. I must be a real streamer now. Okay, so first we say package edition 2018, and we want to add Nannou 0.15. Yeah, I feel like I'm winning. The first thing that we'll probably do is get this demo app. And so if you haven't seen Rust, let me talk you through some Rust. The first thing you might notice is that main can appear anywhere. If you are from like a Java or C land, you'll be familiar with main being in very specific requirements, but with alright, we'll download updates. No, actually I don't want to update the browser. Sorry, I don't want to update the code. I was gonna. Okay, so we'll just do this. We'll do it manually. Okay, so the commands that we want to execute, just to show you where we are. We are inside this root level directory, and so we can, to compile our code, we just do cargo run, and that's not what I expected to see at all. What else is running on my computer? Oh, you know what's probably running is cargo. Is Rust Analyzer is actually so this is the code. Yeah, goodness me, this is the problem with starting a brand new project. So let me talk you through. Okay, cool, we're going. And we've already got our first compile error, which is not what we wanted at all. The linker died, but not compile libc. Oh no, this is weird. I feel like when you're doing a demo, you really don't want something like the linker blowing up on you. I am hopeful that the problem is that these things are competing. Otherwise, I'm just going to change the music as well. I'm kind of over it. I'm a little bit scared that if I change to the wrong music, I'm going to get like a copyright takedown, because Twitch has become very enthusiastic about copyright enforcement, and I don't want to get banned. Oh, this is really annoying. I apologize for this. I want to check one more thing. Okay, so but before I do, I'll talk you through some Rust. This is a Rust coding stream. Oh, I'm a bit frustrated, sorry. Did not expect that I'm going to get a broken build right off the bat. That was not what I planned. Okay, so the very first line is use Nannou prelude. That brings in a whole bunch of stuff into our into local scope. There's a missing command. Oh, what's that? This is an... Oh, I think I know what it's happening. So we've got this empty model, which is just a type. So this was kind of like a struct. So we can, let's say that we wanted to, eventually I'm going to have some vertices. We'll just put lines, and I'm going to have a vector of 0.2. So vec in this instance is a, is if you're from Java, array list, and 0.2 is that something that comes from Nannou and is a type that is a two-dimensional point. So it's two floating point numbers. Yeah, yeah. Rust analyzer is being, you know, it's being difficult, I suppose. But the problem is actually not really Rust analyzer. It's the fact that one of the downsides of Nannou, it provides a lot of functionality for you, but it also pulls in like half of crates.io. So crates.io is it's not quite as bad as like JavaScript dependencies, but we're reaching 300 dependencies, and each of those needs to be compiled, and that can take time. So as Big Rick says to us, we just got to be a bit patient. And okay, so what else are we doing? So once this all builds, hopefully all of our every future build will be a lot faster. So we've got lines, and then we can initialize lines by saying deck. Now that's not a great, like this isn't a lot of code, but this will get us started. So the first thing that I want to get us to do is draw 2 points, or create 2 points, and then draw a line across them, and then move them around. And have our first screensaver is just something that's just running around. Yeah, okay, so we get a compiler warning that we've just created this, like, it's saying that this is completely unnecessary. It's taken us 4 minutes to debug, or 4 minutes to compile, and apparently it's running. Oh, there it is. It's very on theme, purple. So how? Okay, so that's our first screensaver. It's just purple. We can change this. So I'll just change this to blue steel. Sadly, there's no blue steel. I don't know if anyone else likes Zoolander references, but but I do, because I'm weird. We get that compile waller again, and the other thing that I'll bring up on the other side. So we've just changed the color. The compile was much faster. It took us 9 seconds. We got there. That's great. Okay, so docs.rs 15 Nannou is there. One thing what we're going to do now is in this, we're going to add a line up the top, and so actually I'm going to introduce a type alias, and that's going to be line, which will be 2 points. And then lines is actually going to be a vector of 2. What? Never used. Okay, great. We'll change this eventually, because we want each of the points to be able to actually move independently, and that will become useful and important. Yes, we can actually change the we can change the window side as well. I love it. Okay, where are we at? We're creating a line. Okay, we can do this team. We've got it. Now what we need to do is we create a mutable with a read-write variable called lines, and then this will be lines as well. Now, and because with type inference, you can see that the code analyzer was able to infer that we've got point2. It turns out that that's an alias for vector2, but we can disregard that for now. And we didn't need to actually explicitly add a type. The code analyzer itself has done that for us. So let's create one, and we get these really useful helpers from lines from Nannou. I'm just going to comment that out for a sec and do this quite explicitly to start with, and we'll refactor point 2, and x and y are both going to be filled in very soon. Just do some reformatting. Okay, so one of the things we want to do is create like a random point between the top of the window, which is actually available to us from inside app. Gosh. App. Oh god. App dot. Bring up the help documentation for what I'm actually doing, but I've got this window. I think I've got window rect. There it is. And I'm going to say that this is the bounds of. So, and I want the x minimum to be at the left, and x can be within the left and right. I almost want to refactor already. I know exactly. So, and then that's the x. Y will be between the bottom and top. One thing I really like about Nannou is that its coordinate system is quite sane. 0, 0, 0 is actually in the origin. A lot of graphic systems, you'll have to navigate between the top left being 0, 0 and like the bottom left, or some other point being the origin. With Nannou, you kind of get this nice function, like this nice property that so it's quite hard to read. I'm just going to expand out a bit and fix the compile errors. What it's saying is, I think that this is an error. Okay, so we're creating an X point. Oh, okay, I need a second function call. Sorry. Random range, minimum. So I'm creating actually 4 points, and one of them will be constrained by left and right, and one of them will be constrained by top and bottom. Now, why is it still grumpy with me? Let's figure this out. Probably no quick fixes are available. That's useful. I'm going to try, maybe I'll refactor this again. X1, X0, X random range, bounds left, bounds right, and I'll replace this call with X0, and then hey, I gotta make dinner, but I'll watch tomorrow. Hey, no trouble at all. I shall. We're gonna hang. By the way, we've got a chat. It's nice to see you again, man. Hope everything's alright in Texas. And we will replace the Y thing to Y1. And I'm just gonna do that again. Y1x. Actually, that's the wrong variable, isn't it? We are not dead. I love it. Okay, so that seems to be useful. Now I need to push, but we're finally in the position where we've got one line and we can push it into this line's variable now. So what's the view function? Well, view function is, by the way, this is the model function is kind of like an initialization. If you're from processing or familiar with processing, to me it's akin to the setup function. And I don't doubt that they have tents in hospitals in the States anymore. Like lots of people are quite sick, and there are lots and lots of families who are feeling it. So yeah, I hope that your wife is giving herself a couple of breaks where she can. Okay, so what we want to do is get this line. We want to pull it out of our lines vector, and we only have one, so we're just going to do it simply. Reminder again that vector 2 is actually an alias, or sorry, point 2, which is an alias for vector 2. So it's just just 2 pointing points. And I might need to refer to some documentation because I think I get app and then I ask for the draw function. Now I always call this drawing. And then drawing, I want a line. And then points, I want my line 0, line 1. Now, I don't think this is right. Hey, Just Be. Welcome. I wonder if this is right. Let's find out. And I always Oh yeah, right, of course, because it's a single line. So right. And then we can go to color, and I think stroke color, and I'm gonna go for snow. I know that it's a constant that's defined inside the prelude by default. Stroke weight, and we'll go 2 pixels. Oh, the other thing is that it's quite nice about Nannou is that you get this quite. Oh, why are you grumpy? You cannot index into X. Oh right, sorry. It's a tuple, so it takes this kind of indexing form. Yeah, I've noticed that too. The responsiveness of Rust Analyzer does seem to be outperforming the Rust. I've actually got C-Line running. Well, not C-Line running right now, but I actually kind of flip between both. I kind of play the field with the IDEs. I'm never quite satisfied. That's weird. Got nothing. I expected that we would have a line. Oh, you know why? Because we cleared the frame before drawing the line. Or after, sorry. And the other thing that we need to do is that we need to actually kind of like stick this drawing object, this line object, into the frame, and there's a way to do that. Which isn't difficult, but I don't recall what it is. So I'm just going to go look through the docs a little bit. And sorry, shouldn't breathe into a mic. It's never nice as a listener. Draw to frame. That's what I want. Let's put that there. Now, just take, not found in scope. Oh yeah, so they always call it draw. I like to call it drawing because it feels nicer, but maybe it's not. Hopefully, this will just pop up with a line, and every time we refresh, it will change. Okay, great. So this is kind of useful. Yay, celebration. This is our screensaver. It's our master screensaver. Sadly, we just hit a panic, which is not awesome, but there we go. Okay, so now what we need to do is move this point. We need to move this around, and that is going to mean refactoring. So one of the things that I'm going to do is turn this line into kind of like a proper type rather than just a type alias, and then we're going to provide like a velocity vector, which is we're just going to update. Actually, let's just do it the bad way, I suppose. And we'll introduce for loops. For line in model lines. Okay, yeah, cool. So you can see here that we've got this ampersand mut, which is kind of affectionately known as like a mutable borrow, because everyone loves incomprehensible jargon, and that means it means that we're able to modify values in place. So I've got line 0 refers to the leftmost point, so up here. Well, actually, I wonder if I can bring this type definition down, but also split the screen a bit. So line 0 refers to this one, and line is the second point. 0, line 1. The idea software is good, but it always feels sluggish. Yeah, it's also a memory hog. I think like they it's unfortunate, but also it's doing a lot of work for you, so you kind of expect it to use heaps of memory. Now we are going to do random range again. And we're just going to go between negative, like, so let's say negative 3 and 3. Now I think this will just end up creating, it's not actually going to do a random, like a nice random walk. We're just going to get this bubble that each of these points are going to just, I just, yeah. We're just going to, the points are just going to oscillate around. Why are you not happy with me? Maybe a type bound. Oh, okay, so it doesn't actually know what the type bound of line is, so I'm just gonna have to add, kind of give it turbofish, I think. Maybe that will satisfy demands for a type. Nope, didn't help. Expected struct bound 32. Right, so actually we need to, every line has 2 points, and I am trying to adjust so the syntax is awful, let's say. I will update it once we do some refactoring, but I just kind of want to get something moving on the screen. And it doesn't compile. It turns out that although I'm using a tuple, cannot assign as mutable because it's not kind of mutable reference. I don't actually think. So I needed to tell Rust that I am not going to claim ownership over the lines, and that sounds really strange at first. Okay, so there we go. We've we're moving. Rock on. Yeah, clearly we haven't quite reached perfection, but we do have one line that's moving, so we're kind of making progress. And yeah, nervous line. Yeah, it's like, am I going the right place? So it's always just going to bumble around the origin and each of their so what we want to actually do is kind of pull this out, and we need to do some hacking on our code, because we can't keep we need to kind of add some structure. First thing that I want to do is enable the line to update its own position, and struct line, and then this is going to kill all of the type, all of our we've just been declaring that Rust Analyzer has been doing a great job, but this is going to confuse the heck out of it because we're just undermining it. Now, we could have done other things, so we could have created a we could have said that actually it's possible to have multiple points, and then we could have created a vector of 0.2. But right now I am not going to bother. I'm just going to have two-dimensional. I mean, look, if you guys are so pretty keen on that wiggly line, I'll just undo a few things. Or actually, I'm just going to run it in place. So I'll show you. We go into CD target debug. You'll see that there's a little executable here, Mystify. Now that actually retains the last compilation output. And we'll just have a few of these guys running. I say guys in the gender neutral sense of the word. Oh, that's not a very good place for a line to be. Oh, they really like being at the bottom. That's the problem with these random... Oh, there's a big one. Okay, good. There we go. We'll leave that chilling for a while. As you can see, resizing doesn't work very well. This is going to bug everybody, but let me know when it's annoying and I will stop it. By the way, I don't mean to plug too badly, but if you're enjoying the stream, you're more than welcome to hit the follow button. I need the encouragement. I try to stream around about this time, from 10 o'clock in the morning my time. It's about 4 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. UTC on yeah, I love it. It's like, it's not really sure what it wants to go somewhere, but it keeps coming home. Okay, I think I've got enough of the line. It's kind of distracting, but maybe I'll just make it a lot smaller. You can just kind of wiggle away. And anyone who's new to the stream can just kind of look at it and be like, what's happening here? That doesn't look like a very good screensaver. It's not even full screen. Point one, and I also want a velocity. Now I only want that to be a vector of 2. I'm going to be pedantic and distinguish between a point and a vector. It turns out that the implementation is exactly the same. They're both like a pair of floating point values, but whatever. Okay, so now I need to add a little bit of structure. So one of the things I'm going to do is create an update method, and I'm going to take a mutable reference to myself, and then I'm going to return nothing. So I'm just going to do all in place. And to do so, I'm going to do 0.0. Maybe I should have had the points as a vector because it improves the kind of improves the... Oh, maybe each point should have its own velocity. Actually, that... Yeah, okay, I'm changing my mind, sorry. So each point is going to be a 0.2, which is kind of mind-bending. Maybe we'll call this a different... No, we'll call it vertex, because that's at least distinguished. Position, and then velocity. So each vertex, which is actually a point, has a speed and a position, and it's about 1:45. Well, I'm sorry for keeping you up. Hopefully you're doing well. I assume it's Europe or maybe Africa. And points 0.0 is a vertex, and 0.1 is a vertex. Now, actually, no. Sorry, I keep changing my mind. We're going to create a little array, and that's going to be of size 2. Which is the same, it just enables us to iterate a little bit easier. So anyway, we need to add an implementation, which is kind of defining a method on a class. Update. Actually, returning nothing. And we're just going to do self position plus equals self dot velocity. Bang. And that's all the other thing we need to do is actually we're just going to encounter the bug and then we'll fix it. If for readers at home, let me know if you can detect the bug. Now, can't find 0.0. Oh, okay. So the update method is for point in self point. Oh, actually, that's a mutable reference to myself. and I want to point update. And then I'm also going to add a display method which takes a read-only instance self, and I'm going to take a mutable, a read-only reference to a draw, which is I call drawing, because I just think of it as a physical object. And so we're just going to pluck the drawing method. I'll pluck this thing out. And instead of this being self line, it's going to be self points, and then it will be array indexing, not tuple indexing. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll just keep it like that. It just is a little bit simple. It also means that if... Okay, so that should almost work. I'm confused as to why that is unhappy. Oh, right, okay. So actually we need to get the position. So if you're following at home and you're a bit confused as to what on earth self point 0 position is, every line has two vertices. Each vertex has a position, and it's the position that is a point. And so to get it onto screen, we want to draw points between the two positions. So that's what those are. Now we got lines, and the other thing that I want to do is create a new method, and this is going to abstract. Actually, we'll do that later, I think. No, we might as well do it now. Oh no, we'll get something up on the screen. It's always nice to get something on the screen. Under is this is pretty close, except we need to create a line, and its points are an array of vertex. And I'm just going to create another variable, which is going to be velocity random range, and I'm just going to go between, and we had 3 and 3. This will all get cleaned up very soon as well. So the vertex is constructed position is 0, 0. You may wonder why there is this .2 method. That's just a constructor that's defined with inside Nannou. Velocity is going to be v0, and I need the second vertex also. Sorry, yeah, I do. Now that's just going to be 1. By the way, if you got any questions, just shout out. That's all good. The way to shout at me is to add a question in the chat. Okay, so where are we at? Now, there's a display method for line, and a display method. I should probably add one for model. It's gonna be pretty easy. Import model, which is adding we're just adding methods to model, and And all we're going to do is delegate. So for line in self lines line draw display, sorry. Oh, and then we're going to propagate the drawing. We're just going to send the reference further through. And so now the initialization is kind of all done. Update, we can... I'm just going to skip this for now and we'll just do line update. We'll do it here rather than creating a method inside model because I really want to get some more points on the screen. I love a point on the screen. I love drawing things. I kind of, if I don't get that feedback from creating something, I just get irritated really quickly. Drawing, actually, so the first thing I want, so it's model dot display drawing, and let's see if this works. So I'm in target debug, which is not super helpful right now. Cargo run. Now it should be relatively quickly to compile once we get past the compile errors, so that's useful. Expected 0.2, but got a floating point number. Oh sure, okay, well that's easily fixed. I will... So velocity is both a magnitude and a direction. So... You know what, I'm just going to do something easy. The magnitude and the direction are going to be the same. For right now. I can clean that up later. And it just happens to be the case that that 0.2 is the same. And I think I probably also made an error earlier on. Oh no, it's only those two. So let's see if there are other ones. Okay, let's move up line. Okay, right. So I can fix that. So this 81 is down here. It's saying that it's... Can I just get rid of it? I don't think I need it anymore. Consider this to be immutable. Oh yes, update, which is in line 11. Yeah, it should be a mutable reference to self. Okay, where are we at? We're excited, I'm excited. We're gonna have like... Ah, there we go. Wonderful. Wait. Oh no, our line, it's gone, it's all the way through. It's never coming back. Sadly, we're toast. So we need to change something, and that is if we are at the top of our range, like if we're outside the window, we need to change the we need to change this velocity vector. Now, like vector in the mathematical sense, not in the computer science sense. Now, what's the best way to do that? In update, we have only got a reference to self, so we don't actually have access to the app, which, if you remember, actually contains the ability for us to get the current window and understand its bounds. So again, we just, how do we fix this? Well, one of the ways that we fix it is actually by changing some of these definitions. So, and what I'm going to do is change the update method to take a reference to application because it's available to me during the update. Now I could also now that I'm sorry, I'm a bit stuck. And the reason why I'm a little bit stuck is now I've changed the definition of update. In some sense, I've got like two versions of it. Each vertex has one, and then my lines have a different way of updating themselves. Now, the way that Rust would prefer to deal with this is by creating what's called a trait, and a trait is an interface. I'm not gonna. So just actually, I'll just define one, just so that we can kind of get a look at what they. And I'm just going to say update, and then it will have an update function, and that will take. Oh, it needs to be generic over other types, and then. Actually, it's got self and then a reference to app. And that's pretty much all you need. I mean, it's a slightly different in reality. Oh, no, that's wrong. But not much more. There's not much more work. And then what we can do later on is we can actually guarantee that every type that is defining that it implements the same trait or same interface, and that guarantees that we won't have problems around like some person deciding that they're going to change the public interface because it won't comply. You need to actually talk to the other developers and get them to agree. Now, window rec, and it's like if self position is and is and that's .x is low is less than. There's actually a better way to do this. I've implemented this before and it was really elegant. Or greater than right. Except I can't actually remember how I did it, so that's no use. Or y is less than bottom or greater than top. This is our physics engine. It's pretty intense. Then what do? We flip the velocity. We send it back in the other direction, and then next update it will some more compile errors. Oh, actually I'm just gonna remove this trait because it's already defined in Nannou apparently, so it's a bit confused why we created another one and then didn't implement it. The other thing that I'm going to do is just add some, fix up some formatting. Look. Is it working? Yes! Hooray! Now, just because we need it to be a bit more retro, I think I need to improve the color scheme a little bit. I feel like that's my next step. Does anyone agree? We're nearly there. Actually, I'll just do cargo format. Cargo FMT, and that will bring my formatting into line, which is nice. So thanks cargo format, otherwise known as the Rust format. So the other thing, it needs to be black, doesn't it? And these lines should probably be. Maybe the lines could have a color. Except apparently there's no color defined inside them. I find that difficult to believe. Oh, there is a little bit of a pain here. Because I think there are these UI... it's just saying it's... Oh right, it's actually using English spelling, which is weird. Sorry, even more nervous line. I need to decrease the nervousness. Like it's just wobbly now. It feels quite lonely. So now what we need to do is kind of create like a ring. And the ring is actually a vector of lines. What we're going to do is actually we're going to create a few. Oh, what else do we need to do? We think we should probably improve this initialization story. Maybe it's not so necessary right now. What I want to do is kind of create like, well, actually, oh, oopsie, don't touch the mic. Come on. Now we're black. I wanted to kind of get like hot pink, and oh, it is defined, named color. There's deep pink and hot pink. I think which one's going to be like more 80s? That deep pink sounds pretty 80s. It's pretty 8-bit. And I want cargo build. Actually, I want cargo run. Come on, come on, come on. Go, go, go. You can do it, computer. There we go. Check it out. Boom. Now, it's actually going to use the old... oh no, it's changed the window length. It's now we're responding to... now we are responding to window resizing. Because I'm using the window rect function. Oh, it's a bit confused now because inside about like it. Oh, oops! I just killed that. Okay. I want to create more lines, so this isn't really going to cut it, is it? And I need a better way to construct lines. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be muddled.
And now it's just like, you gotta have that time
do I...
disconnect from the scene, just the race, like, and it's a race that I've created in my head.
So what we want to do I think is how large is the binary? Okay. Well, actually, yeah, that's a fair question. Actually, I'm feeling like we've almost finished, and I am kind of content to just answer questions and I'm happy to carry on going, but I feel like it's so we're actually quite large. So if we it's 150 megs, 144. It's. I wonder if we strip debugging information. Oh, and we'll have to wait for Rust Analyzer again, apparently. That's nice. Oh, I know why. We changed the profile, so now it has to go and recompile to comply with the profile. So, that's great. And the other thing I'm just going to stop that and try the release build. So this will take a lot of time to compile. But you know, maybe minutes. But it will provide significantly more representative view about like that question of like how big is the compiler? Like, sorry, how big is the compile space? Compile space. What a strange way to describe that. What else am I doing? So I'm thinking about the best way to change what I've written such that, because I really want to support the other modes. So I'm thinking sorry, what I say by other modes, what I really want to do is support multiple lines. So, and I'm just a bit confused about how to, not confused is the wrong word. I think what I'm going to do is go back on, I think what I'm going to do is change this to a ring, and it will make sense very soon, and this is going to become a vector of vertex. And the ring will be, I'm going to change the mode, we're going to change what we draw, and instead of drawing one line, we're going to invoke a function called polyline, which is like a multi-lined which is like a line that has edges in it, so has kinks in it. So what we're going to be doing is we go back to the Nannou guide, as it takes like 6 years to load. We're going to be creating something that looks a little bit more like the sine wave. We need like an iterable of points. I'm up over here on the left. An iterable of points, and then we just kind of send them in. So instead of sending a single lot of, you know what I need to do? Because these vertices have this position, it's a bit confusing because self.points isn't actually a point anyway. Now, if you've not seen the functional programming style, this next little bit might look a little bit confusing. I'm going to call it vertex just for fun, and then I want it to wrap around so that the last, actually I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this later. I'll just show you what happens if I don't. And leave that there. So now I don't want to call self.points, I want just the points local variable. Now I'm gonna, and stroke weight isn't happy. So I've got this path thing. Actually, maybe path is a better term than ring. So path has like multiple waypoints, and that makes a lot of sense. And but it just happens to be the case that we're actually creating these kind of weird rings. Now, we don't have, we don't need stroke weight. We just call it weight, and color is color. And I think this needs to be up here. now we're almost there. So this becomes, instead of a line, a vector of path. Does it? Oh yeah, because we can actually have multiple paths. And lines, I think, actually should probably become paths. So to do that, I'm going to rename. I can never remember the right thing, so I always happily go into the actual menu and ask for it. So this is a path. And we're still actually compiling that old release. Sorry, not the new release, which is the old code. Oh, and so I've got a problem. It wants to... Wonder if that's going to work. Yeah, it is. Good, good, good. We can easily create a... This little thing here is a macro. And I'm confused as to why that's confused, but that's fine. I'll figure you out. Consider giving me a type, and so I'm just gonna do that. The reason it's 0.2 is because we're plucking out the position field is up here, and we are going to draw those points. Oh look, hello. Here we go. Right in the middle. So this isn't the most exciting thing yet, but we're now able to create more points. So I really want to be able to enable one of these things to create themselves, because this is getting kind of silly. We'll create a new method that returns a path, and endpoints is going to be a random range between 3 and let's say 9. Then actually 9's probably too many, let's see, but okay. We've actually got a lot of the logic already here, so what we need is position and a velocity. So we need an x, a y, a magnitude, and a speed. So we've got an x, y, a velocity, actually it's not really a velocity, direction, well, which is velocity. I'm gonna get someone coming back to me with saying, hey, I'm gonna increase the ability for the speed to kind of go crazy, because that sounds fun. And I'm curious also, yeah, I'm just going to allow everything. So what on earth is bounds? Okay, so we need to have a reference to app so that we can get that window rec. So we could even just a second, I've got someone like knocking on my door. I will be just a second. I'm just gonna go for a tiny break. Hopefully I'm not gonna be too distracting. Probably gonna lose like everyone, all of you. I will Oh, we were really, really close, by the way. Okay, I'm just going to flick on an ad for 60 seconds and be right back. I shall see you very, very, very soon. Dead air. Okay. Let's go. Let's get back to it. Oh, by the way, apparently we are running that binary. I wonder where it's gone. Oh no, it stopped. That's useful. Oh, we got compile errors. Okay. Okay, so we've got a couple of things that we can fix up, so let's do that. I'm super, super, super excited about how close we are. Found module bounds. I don't really want a bounds. Okay, I'm just going to change this and assume that when we're creating oh, welcome back. Thanks. Sorry about the ad. My partner, we've got a 5-year-old, and she, yeah, so life sometimes takes over. So I need an application, and that's a reference to an app. Sorry, I'm all jumbled. I'm trying to get through this in about 10 minutes, otherwise I get kicked off the stream. it's like when you're playing a video game and your parents are like, get off. That's happened to me. Hopefully the ads don't suck. I know that a lot of people are complaining about Twitch ads. I don't tend to use them because I only have like 6 viewers. So not found in path. What? So I only make like 2 cents. But I guess if you have 10,000 viewers, 10 cents, like, well, that's more than 2 cents, isn't it? Like, okay, so we need to fix up a couple of things that we've broken. Apparently, paths don't have display methods, which is odd to me because here we are implementing display badly because I've got a typo, and that confused the compiler. Oh, expected with path. All right, so we're creating all our points valiantly, and we're not. Now we can actually use this pattern up here, which is quite elegant, to create. So I'm creating a collection, and what I need to do is call collect, I believe. gosh, I always get confused when I try and do functional programming and look clever. So I'm just going to do it like this, the way that's much more boring. And we can speed up things a little bit with capacity method. So that way we only have to do like one memory allocation. It's fine. We need to return points. And we've got all of this stuff, so now we need our point, and that is a vertex actually. And our not vector space, our vertex has a position. And that position is 0.2. X and Y. Nice, because we've already named our variables there, and a velocity. And these are magnitude and our direction. So we'll just say I can't remember which is which, so it's kind of arbitrary. So let's go for direction and speed. I think that's wrong. And we need to do points push. Oh, come on, come on, come on, go, go, go. Oh, right, so we only have... Oh, okay, sorry. Ah, right, of course. We're returning the points object. Ooh, I'm pretty excited now. We've got some dig code in there. That is the, that's the mark of a creator. Sadly, I don't actually think we're using any of this code that we've just built. So we'll have to go and alter that. Now, I'm gonna do that. So we've got this one boring line, and we'll just get rid of all of it. And how many of these things should we build? I think let's just create two. We want a line new, and we need the application reference, and then lines.push. I think that's right. I think that's what I've just asked us to. Oh, it's path, it's not line. Line is the old variable name for anyone that's just been who's just joined us. I did some refactoring and it's only halfway there, and so that's the problem when you're live streaming, right? Like, I'll just blame it on the live stream. Don't blame it on my own terrible coding. And that's not a valid legal thing. And we're there. And this is now paths. Okay, so we can stop this, and we're actually getting very close to the screensaver now. I'm pretty excited. Come on, we can do. Oh, if it's intention. Ah! Oh, right. So now we don't actually need this bounce thing anymore because we've delegated the. Hey, check it out. Woo! I'm feeling super retro. But that's not it yet. That's not quite it. We've got two lines that are actually exactly the same color, so it's impossible to distinguish them, and we've got none of that really cool retro trace thing going. But I think we're good, and I know how to fix it. So to fix it, we have a history, and to do that we have a vector. Actually, I'm going to try a different one, which is called a vecdec, which is a double-ended queue of vector vertex. Now that sounds a bit silly. You'll see that it probably is. But line family found a partner. I love it. Yeah. Actually, we'll change the other color. We'll change one of them to something else. I think maybe that's what we'll have to give it a color. We'll have to give them a color, because otherwise we're never going to distinguish. Oh, I did not realize. Oh no, that's a different type. And is that a type? Okay, so I want to ignore the spelling problem. That's annoying. I mean, I know that it's... Okay, I think that's good. And the other one I want is a... Now I've got to update my display method, and that's going to be self.color. And in the new method, I'm going to sort of... Just going to still with this hard coding. But oh, it's probably the wrong type. But RGB. Oh. Okay, we'll change that. Oh gosh. Alright? Is it okay? Oh. RGB 8. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. Ugh. That's a... That's an annoying type definition. So that's inside the color space and off. Man, this is really irritating. I don't care about it at all. Just want to use the type of those constants. And but it's part of the prelude, so that I can hopefully just that nor required by this oh my goodness, I'm quite irritated. I'm gonna flag the color. I'm just gonna go for choosing a random color at draw time. So to do that, I'm going to choose between like a white and like hot pink. Here we got a deep pink, that's fine. And you should probably choose like a neon blue. There's a neon blue. Turquoise will do. And then we want to get color. I don't think that there's like a random choice. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, right. There is definitely a syntax there. There's definitely a syntax there. Thanks, Rust Analyzer. You saved my day again. Made me feel like an idiot in front of all of my friends. You're quite correct. Yes, it definitely had a... There's a... here's another neon-esque colour, yellow-green. Now I need to do random choice. Now I would like to... I'm just gonna do something. I mean, it's a bit meh, but it'll work. And I really wish that it would give me a break on the spelling. I know that I'm not, like, color is spelled with a U where I live, and so the spelling checker is very confused. It's very concerned for my welfare. And found a semicolon. Okay, I think that's just an artifact of, I think that's actually okay. And this color is going to be that color. Oh, it wants a semicolon. Go, 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 go. I can kill that now. Okay, that's not at all what I expected. I forgot that it's going to do it at every stage, so we're not quite there. We're close. Maybe I do need to actually get the type right. And now maybe I can find the definition, import the type, and try again. So color is an RGB, sRGB U8. Yeah, it's like, whoa! I honestly, stop with the spelling errors. I just, like, what? Just give me a break. Now we can just pull this logic up. And I wonder if this one at least fixes that problem. You love it. Well, clearly, like, people have it's not so much different. Okay, so now we're kind of a little bit stable. There's two things that I want to do. One is join the dots. The second one is kind of create these tails. And it gets a bit confused when you when you close the window, and it's just my kids in the background. Like when you resize quickly, because our logic doesn't actually shrink, like it doesn't direct it back to 0. It just inverts it, and so it's just toggling backwards and forwards and getting confused. Anyway, we can fix that in version 2. Now what we require is we want to close the points up so that we at least turn these into like these rings, and to do so we could do it in two ways. One is we can do it in display time, which is that you always add you always make sure that the last point is exactly the same as the start point. Probably the other way of doing it is to do it at creation time, which means you kind of keep another vertex around, and I think I'll do that because it means that I don't have to muck around with my display. It's 0 and it's going to be points. The last, I want the last to be the same as the first. So actually that's wrong. It's push. Otherwise the start and the start are going to be the same. And I'm just going to clone that to explicit that I'm actually. It's probably obvious to everybody. It actually doesn't have clone. I don't really need this here. No, I'll just rely on some other semantics, which is just that these are built on primitive types, and primitive types get copied automatically, used in different places. He says, and actually we get a move problem, so I'm going to need to solve that with duplication. I'm just going to, actually, you know what, I'm not going to opt in to line. So this is going to mean that each of our things are in the same place. Now paths there, and to do this nicely, well, okay, so now we've got our things working and kind of almost what we want. We've got exactly the same color twice, which is not what I expected with random number generation, but it's what you get. Just notice that there's some really strange colors, like old lace, and light gray. Let's bring in light gray. That sounds fun. And we'll bring in olive drab. Plum. How about plum? What about royal blue? Have I got a blue? I think I do. Oopsie. Nope. Okay, let's ignore the colors for now. Get this history going. Now, history should live... It's going to live in path, which sounds like a strange place for it to live, but I think that it makes sense, or at least it will make sense once we see the display method and the update method as well. I know what I want to do. No, that's import collection. So we're going to just ask Rust Analyzer to import, to add this line to the top of the file, which imports a new collection type, which enables fast or efficient appends and deletes from the start and the back. So we're going to be appending things to, because we've got a history, we're basically going to have a fixed width buffer of positions, or external old positions. We're going to be appending them to the right of the deck and popping them off the left. To answer the question about colour, New Zealand typically goes with British spelling, and that means with the U. It's not quite accurate. There are small more Americanisms are kind of coming in, and in one place I know we've used both. So I would say router, and that would mean like a computer router, but in British English, but I would talk about going down a route. So I would kind of use both, whereas Americans would say like there's a router like that's doing the network traffic, and actually I'm going down a route, whereas I use both words, so it's a bit strange. Okay, so the one thing that I need is history is going to be empty at the start, and actually I'm just going to create opacity 5, because we know, well, just that we'll just have a maximum history of 5. It doesn't know the type. That's challenging. I wonder if I can just cheat by just using the macro and seeing if I can just use type inference all the way down. Probably still going to get angry with me. Oh no. Okay. Oh yeah, it does. It's confused. Oh, it's actually not a vector, which is quite which that makes a lot of sense actually. It's like, if you use the wrong type, sir, you're not going to be able to do it. Now update is for point and vertex update. So the first thing that we're going to do is update method now becomes history after history push back will be self.points clone. Now I think that there's dot points and vertexes clone, so we just duplicate it. And then the other thing we want to do is if self history I'm gonna introduce a constant. Oh no, we just this is a bad practice, obviously. We shouldn't copy constants ourselves around, but we actually want to self history pop left. Oh, actually pop front. Actually, front and back is a nicer way to put it than left and right. Left and right is very writing centric writing system centric. Okay, so now we've got popping front, and we've got pushing at the end, popping on the front. We can update our position. Displaying is now a matter of displaying all of our points, of all of I wonder if we should do the current one in a different weight. Path and self.history. We could actually, if we had a display method for a we can just copy this all across. I know that's a little duplication never hurt anybody, right? Instead of self.path, we got points.path. And we just iterate over. And this needs to actually be a reference. And I'm just gonna. I'm optimistic that this works, but it's really hard to know what the compiler is going to decide. Like how it's going to decide that you are not. Hey, check it out! There we go. Hooray! It worked. So now you get to implement the screensaver all by yourself. With that, I am gonna hang up and let you go on with your day. I will see you later. There is a subscribe button available to you if you've enjoyed the stream. I really encourage you to push it so that we can continue to catch up. And if you'd love to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is the same. It's really fun hanging out and participating. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. It's been really fun to get this live for you. I hope the pace has been okay, and I'll stay on questions. I'll stay in the chat for a few minutes to answer any questions that come through. Cool. Thanks everyone. Just with that, I'll wave you out.